An 18-year-old white male has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder for a mass shooting at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York, in what authorities called an act of racially motivated violent extremism.
What are they going to do? They're going to attack a minority church or college or grocery store, some type of minority gathering.
And or a massive white supremacist attack they stage. That's all the pre-programming in the media, so you know it's coming.
And you're going to be bad because you were a Republican voter, period. That's how they intend to do this, is connect the Republican Party to white supremacism and the Second Amendment to it. That's why they're pushing for violence and preparing real false flags, not just guys dressed up like white nationalists to discredit the Republican gubernatorial candidate in Virginia, but violence, my friends. And that's so if you go to a black church or you go to a, rural, say, black grocery store, you better be packing. You better be watching, because let me tell you, the deep states are coming.
But I've been telling you one story since we first came on the air, and it was about this man here, Grady Lewis. You were in that Tops earlier this afternoon. We're going to get to that story, but you told me just a few moments ago that you actually spoke with the suspect yesterday. He was here. Tell me more about that.
I seen him, and he looked strange in the neighborhood, but he had a genius shirt on, so I wanted to see if he was a genius. And we sat and talked about string theory, critical race theory.
Replacement theory is the idea that white populations, both in North America, here in the USA, and in Europe, are being replaced by minority populations, largely through immigration.
And he seemed like he was a genius, actually. He said he came up just to see the countryside, and he was going to go out camping. He bought a big a jug of water. He had a little nervous twitch to him.
The suspect used social media to live stream the attack. CBS 2's Thalia Perez is here now with that part of the story, as Governor Hochul is calling on social media companies to do more to monitor the posts.
Well, Jessica, the widely popular live streaming service Twitch, which is owned by Amazon,
I bought him something to drink, and we sat and talked for about an hour and 45 minutes after seeing the pictures and seeing the blue car that I seen him got into yesterday. So it's a shock right now, and he told me his name was Peyton. So it's a shock.
And we did see a blue car get taken away from this scene just about a half hour or so ago. And you were saying that you were speaking with him on a bench that's located outside of this Tops.
Yes.
That's the bench that earlier today, when I first got here, you were the first person I spoke to. You were telling me that bench is your office.
Yes.
And you usually like to stop and sit there and talk to people that are passing by. Today you didn't stop.
Yes.
So walk me through your afternoon here at the Tops.
Well, I went in there and got me some a juice. And I didn't want to sit there today, so I walked across the street and I opened up my juice. And as I opened up my juice, I heard what I knew wasn't a firecracker. And I looked up and I seen a guy shooting people. Then I seen a security guard run inside, and then I seen him going after him, shooting. And I saw him come back out, and he had all camouflage on, and glasses and helmet, and then he put the gun to his head, and he dropped it. He took off his gloves, he took off his gun, he put it down, he took off his vest, and then he got on his knees and laid down and put his hands behind his back, and they arrested him at that point.
From some of the people who witnessed the shooting in Buffalo, here's how one man described the attack.
When I just left out the store, and I stopped here, and I started to drink my juice, and I heard a gunshot that I knew was a gunshot and not a firecracker. So I looked up, and I seen smoke.
He looked out of place, not because he was white. It's just a feeling I had about him
And intuition, that's definitely energy that made me say, well, let me talk to this guy. And I talked to him for like an hour and 45 minutes. And I actually even bought him something to drink because he did seem a little nervous. But he looked out of place, not because he was white. It's just a feeling I had about him. And intuition, that's definitely energy that made me say, well, let me talk to this guy. And I talked to him for like an hour and 45 minutes. And I actually even bought him something to drink because he did seem a little nervous. But I wasn't able to get anything out of him where I could at least have called the police and warned people.
Hey, what is going on with y'all, man? It's Black Balloon. And I'm coming back with another video, so y'all already know what's going on. Alright, y'all, look. So on this part 1 on YouTube, it's going to be pretty censored, right? For obvious reasons that I can't say pretty much, anything crazy or strongly against, like, the narrative that they gave us as far as how this mass shooting went in Buffalo, New York, right? But there's a few things that I kind of wanted to talk about at the end of this video. Kind of just want to make it short and sweet. I guess one thing where I could start at is the video itself, or at least the clips that I was just showing y'all about the witness, the guy that claimed to had talked to him. I'm assuming the day before. I think that's what they said, right? And it was definitely odd that, like, the key witness, basically the key eyewitness was a black guy. And y'all know this is definitely like a race baiting type of thing, which is why I did the Operation Mockingbird video, so you can be aware of how the media operates and how they respond to these kind of things. Basically, like, them giving you the result of something before you can even give it, like, or even see it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, they push out what they want to promote through the shooting, or what they want it to be, or how they want people to react. They are pushing that out to you. You're not reacting the way that you want to react. You're reacting how the media wants you to react. That's basically what Operation Mockingbird details. This is like a prime example of it almost, So that's why I said that's why I did those videos. And I know on the old channel, I had another video that pertained to Operation Mockingbird. It wasn't called Operation Mockingbird. I forget what the name of the video was. But maybe I can dig something up and just do another part to it just to, kind of have like a better understanding of it. So people can actually know, like, what's going on. You'll be able to point it out. But that key eyewitness was definitely, strange. Once again, this video has to be censored. I can't really say what I want. Maybe I could upload a part on Patreon where we just really go in about it. That guy was definitely pretty strange. He seemed really rehearsed on what to say, especially the part where the guy told him to say intuition. That just kind of, that would trigger off all kind of people. Especially people like us. We see some shit like that, we like, oh, hell no. Something ain't right. Why he being told what to say? You know what I'm saying? And why is he always looking over as if he was, like, being coached before the filming even started? You know what I'm saying? And they interviewed him a couple times. So it's like they're trying to put him in front of us. You got to pay attention. They're definitely pushing him in front of us. Alex Jones calling it out, that was also crazy right there. I had never actually saw that clip from InfoWars, but that was pretty interesting. Rather or not, y'all think he's controlled opposition or whatever the case may be, what he just spoke in that clip, that was some truth right there. And that's not the first time I've pulled something from Alex Jones, but in the things I've done with Alex Jones, it was all that old stuff before he even, became whoever he is now. Now, the last few things I want to point out actually about this video is how often I see, and I've covered quite a few of these type of, you know, shootings and stuff on my Patreon, right? So I've noticed a pattern in the suspects. There's always something prior to the shooting where the suspect was made, you know, or at least authorities were made aware of that certain suspect or suspects, like the Columbine massacre, where prior to that, I think, you know, the FBI was like at his house, the dude who did the Columbine massacre, the two dudes. So in this one, the guy Peyton, 10 months prior, you know, I think he had some kind of threat at his school where the police were called on him, right? So the media says it as if like that is when, you know, they missed their chance to recognize his mental health and maybe he wouldn't have been who he is today and did this mass shooting, blah, blah, blah. You know, in the name of saving white people, you know, as far as that whole replacement theory thing, which is why in the video I told you to pay attention to the key words that the guy was saying, because it's very odd that he's saying key words that, you know, relate to the shooter. He's saying the guy had a nervous twitch, and then the shooter, he streamed it on Twitch. And then he's talking about they sat down and had a conversation, and he thought the guy was a genius because he had a genius shirt on. And they talked about string theory and all the and theories. Keyword theory. That's why I said that. Gotta watch what they're giving us. Why are they having these conversations? So it's like, when does that happen in real life? That conversation he supposedly had, I just find that hard to believe, honestly. I just find that is the most questionable thing I would say about this whole thing almost. Especially if you saw the footage and it pixelated and it glitched out, and that was questionable as well too. When it glitched out and then a random guy just fell out of nowhere in the footage. And there's some very questionable things about this entire shooting. And then they said 2 months before it, he visited the store and then had a little small back and forth with the security guard because the security guard thought he looked weird, and he told the security guard he was doing like a consensus. So it's like, it's all kind of weird stuff that surrounds this shooting that you could point out that kind of raises red flags, especially the witness that they have and the patterns that I have noticed just from covering other mass shootings. You know, they align with what is going on with this one. Yeah, and that's what it says. It says Gendron wrote that he went on the trip to get consensus data. That was what he was at the store for 2 months before it happened. And this is actually the picture of the security guard that stopped him. Supposedly, this is it. It's just crazy how they give you this entire like background of things that led up to this, you know, this mass shooting. They have everything ready to go, ready to put out. All of this stuff just bombards you just like that. He even got the picture of the security guard. Here he goes, right here. Black guy. Here he goes. Black guy. That's him. Yep. All right, y'all. So with that being said, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap up part 1. You know, I didn't want to make this too long. Like I said, I definitely want to pick kind of like a version on Patreon that's not so censored, where we could kind of just go in a little bit more. And, yeah, man, y'all already know what's going on. Especially let me know what y'all think about this entire thing. And yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. More content on the way. I really appreciate y'all. Let's get the channel back going. And with that being said, it's Black Balloon. And I'ma see y'all soon.